So one of the big problems that I've had with doing train stations is I like to make them run for long distances and set stops and things like that for distances greater than a chunk. I think a chunk looks something like 250 blocks, and I want to be able to set a train station where I can say I want to go to, stop C here or whatever, and but I want stop C to be way more than 250 chunks away. I want to be able to get in my minecart and go. So I've come up with a solution finally to overcome that after doing a lot of research on how to do, just been improving the train station design. I've seen a couple out there and I've been building upon them. But what I want to focus on in this video is the way to make that signal go essentially forever. So this is my station here. It's kind of just all ripped apart. But so we're gonna follow this signal here. This is station C, and basically it comes out. Just for now, ignore everything else, but it comes out right here. So this is stop 3, and it's going. Okay. So this is my basically where I do the first, um, basically a signal refresher. So there's two elements to do it. There's a what they call a NOR latch and an AND gate. And so basically what I do is the second the signal from the station is set, it goes over here, and it's the NOR latch. So even if that signal gets cut off, so for instance, I personally like to make it so as soon as the train leaves the station, that signal gets reset. So when the next person's leaving, they can do it. They can set a different stop or whatever. So so I have a NOR latch right here, which if you don't know how to make one, there's like a million tutorials online. Maybe I'll link them and in the description so that you can learn how to make them. But I made it so my goal was to make it so I can stack everything vertically. So I have 3 stops in this direction from the station, and so I'm going to be able to stack them vertically. And my goal in doing all this was to make it so you could essentially go as so I could go as many stops as I want and keep it you know as little a space as possible vertically. Horizontally, again, I didn't want to take up a lot, but I had room to work with for my design. So anyway, so here's the NOR latch coming in. The signal starts over there, and this is where the refresh comes in. And let me just open this up so you can see what I got going on here without getting overwhelmed by everything else. So the signal comes into the NOR latch here, and then it comes out over here into an AND gate. And then I also have this other signal coming in, which is from the, I'm actually using the same pressure plate, but typically you wouldn't put it this far away, you'd want it a little closer. So basically what happens is, the way it works is the NOR latch keeps the signal, you'd set that up before the 255 or whatever, however big a chunk is. So you'd want to do it probably every 100 blocks, 150 blocks, maybe even 200, depending on view distances and things like that. But if you've run across this problem, you pretty much know how far you can go before you need it. So yeah, so when that happens is so the station sets the signal, and so that completes one side of the AND switch. And then what happens is when the train crosses over this pressure plate, what it's going to do is it's going to fulfill the other side of the AND gate, thus telling the signal to move along and go to the next NOR latch. That way I never need a constant signal to keep it going forward. And let's say just for argument's sake, that this station's going 200 something blocks away, and it's about to, oh my gosh, nothing's loaded beyond that. Well, it won't matter, because the second they hit this pressure plate, it'll send the signal further down the line. So I'm gonna, I know this isn't, I didn't make this at the distance, max distance, it's actually pretty close, so I don't need this mechanic for this space, but I'll show you how it works. So right now you can see this is the final signal and it is off, because I haven't, even though at the station it's set to on, the reason it's off right now is because the train cart essentially hasn't hit this pressure plate, which is what's going to send the signal to the next step. So there's a couple other cool, neat little features of doing it this way. Is if you're on a high volume server with a lot of people, more people are going to use the station than one person. Based on how often you set these little repeaters, you could have people, let's say I leave the station, and a few minutes later somebody says, or a minute later, 30 seconds, however long, depending again on how often you put those switches. Excuse me, somebody else says, I want to go to, you wanted to go to stop C, but this person wants to go to stop B. So even while you're in transit, as long as you've hit this switch and the signal has moved on, they can leave too, and it's not going to mess you up. As long as, there will be some time frame on that, but I haven't done the math to figure it out. So that's, like I said, it's got a couple of cool uses. But I'll go ahead and show you really quick kind of how it works. So stop C is set. I'm going to go ahead and get my little train cart and go. So you'll see as soon as I hit this, see some stuff switched over there. This one latches on, bam, I've made it to my next stop. So if you have any comments or concerns on how this works, feel free to email me and I will talk it over. It's been a lot of fun figuring all this stuff out. A bit of a headache, but I haven't tried it in an actual server yet, but I'm working on implementing it in my server where I can set up a massive train network across, pretty much the entire map. And yeah, if anybody has any thoughts on how to make a more efficient train station or anything, it'd be appreciated. I've been looking into a lot of different stuff. I found this cool design the other day online. I'll link it in the description if I can find out who did it, because I can't remember the guy's name where I saw it, but it's pretty sweet. And my goal is to have a northbound and southbound, keep it separate, so people won't clash into each other when they're going. It'll just be, that'll be sweet. So like all the northbound trains come out of here. You have 3 different stops. And the cool thing is all 3 of these buttons set this one here, so this is like northbound, let's say, in theory. But then when I switch to, let's say this would be southbound, or east-west, doesn't really, I mean, you could really make it 2 different directions, however, whatever makes sense. Point is in and out, I guess you could say, or whatever. And then now when I flip that one, it turns all those, setting this to bypass, so it'll go out this way, and then you'd come down and leave. I'm going to set up wiring here for you can bypass the station if you want. So every stop will hopefully be kind of like a mega station like this, with different numbers of stops on both sides to work. I also created this cool little nifty incoming train button. So if somebody's coming from outside the station into the station, it'll make it where you can't set a destination, so that way they don't get bumped out if they're trying to come. But a lot of stuff going on. I've been spending way too many hours on this, more than I should, but I figured I'd create a little video and make my first Minecraft video and see what people thought. Hopefully somebody out there gets used to this. But, yeah, that's it.